Hello everyone, Voodoo here, and today this is going to be a bit of a different video where I want to talk about just one thing, and that is going to be the Treacherous Transmitter Trinket. Now this trinket, that was a mouthful, but this trinket has a lot of weird things going on with it. Is it really strong? Is it kind of bait? How easy to use? That sort of thing, and like kind of tips on how to use it as well. So we're talking about a few things, but it's all about that one trinket. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let's just get on with it. All right, so first things first, it's just like, what is this trinket? Now this is Treacherous Transmitter. This drops from Nexus Princess Kaiveza, the 5th or 6th boss in the raid. And it's a pretty weird one. So it gives you haste, which is fine. Whenever you use it, every minute and a half, it gives you 16,000 primary stat, or 17,000 more likely if you round up, for doing something. Now that's something we'll get to, but it is very powerful. You can see here it's our BIS trinket. In this BIS trinket sim, along with Magme's mandate for single target. This is a bit of an old sim, doesn't have the new stuff following the I-beam buffs, but it basically is used just on cooldown to buff up whatever windows are up. So we go down to about a minute and a half, you'll see it used for the I-beam window whenever it's up there, and it just provides so many stats. It's like a ridiculous amount of stats. If we look at my character in game, I currently have 47,000 agility. My 619 Treacherous Transmitter gives me 14,000 agility, which is roughly a quarter of the agility I have. A little bit more, a little bit less. It's a lot, which is kind of crazy, really. So that's a lot revolving agility. And if we look at something like Blood Mount, now Blood Mount is deeply flawed. I really don't normally do this, but it's a very good visual representation of how strong it is. It's very strong compared to a lot of other trinkets. Now again, Blood Mount has a lot of flaws to it. There's a lot of things wrong with it that aren't always 100% accurate, but it's a pretty fine guesstimatation of how good and how solid some of these trinkets are, especially in single target. The transmitter is kind of the real deal. Now, if we look over in like Neighborhood Palace rankings for Havoc, it shows up sometimes. It doesn't show up all the time. You see some people have it. Top Parse on Olgrax has one, as does the 7th Parse. Look down at Bloodbound Horror. There are 2, the 4th and the 6th. Keep going down here as well. Sikran, very single target. A lot of Magme's mandate. You don't really see any in the top here. You do see a few Skardins though. And down here as well in Rashanan, you see even less of them. So is it good? Is it worth it? What is causing it to maybe fall behind Skardins, maybe be better than Skardins? What is causing it to maybe not be as good as it could be? Well, today's video, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about if it's good or not, and why it's kind of a trap, or why it could be a trap, or why it's not a trap. Who knows? Find out. Let's get the game. All right, so Transmitter. Now, quick shout out to Illidari Area 52, who just messaged me in game. I guess he saw me in the inn or whatever as I started recording this, which is really funny timing. Literally asking me about Transmitter. So if you're watching this one, if you said you would, this one's for you. So here's Transmitter. I have one. It's Hero. I haven't upgraded it yet because I just haven't had many myth things. I've been a little busy saving them up for my weapon crafts, which will be done by the time I raid, but you know, is what it is. Very strong trinket. Now I do recommend, if you are using it, getting a weak aura for it, and I will link the weak aura, but I will show it on screen as well here. Treacherous Transmitter Helper. This one is very good, very useful, and makes the trinket usable in my opinion. So what happens? Well, whenever you use this, there are 3 possible things that come up, and I will do a jump cut showing all 3 before I keep talking. So we'll do whatever one shows up here. But the 3 options are jump 3 times, find a spinning orb, or stand on this platform for like 2 to 3 seconds. I think it's 2 seconds actually. And the thing there that the weak aura really helps is that you know right away if it's find or jump. Now the game has no way of distinguishing between the orb or the platform until you get 1 stack of the platform buff. So basically what happens is you stack on the platform, every half second you get a buff. Once you get that first buff is how the weak aura knows like which one you're doing. But basically you use the weak aura, you pop the trinket. This is fine. So this is the orb. So it spawns over here and then we'll slowly rotate in a circle. So the weak aura pop up. We'll run into it. You have about 15 seconds to get the orb. We grab the orb, but then we have about 20 seconds or 15 seconds of the buff. And you know, you just kind of go in, you blast your AoE burst thing, just whoa, shred, boom, so much damage. You know, really just pop off here, really just boom, blast, whatever. You know, I guess we'll go current segment there. You gotta reset data. But you get the idea, right? So there are 3 different things that can happen there. There's that one, which is the find the orb. There's jump 3 times, which is very straightforward, and there is the platform. So I'll cut away now and show the each different one. Boop, 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 boop. Alright, so if I did my job properly, which hopefully I did, I'm my own editor, so if I didn't, blame me. You should have seen all three things there. Now, jump is by far the easiest one to do. You literally have to just 1, 2, 3 jump. Now, of note though, if you do have the jump one, you can't go boom and then jump before you hit the ground. You do have to wait until you hit the ground, right? Havoc does have double and sort of glides its own thing, but Havoc does have the ability to double jump. It does not count those, right? It goes 1. And if you do it in midair, that would just be 1. Treacherous Transmitter is up in 6 seconds, so we'll see if we get it. But the thing with Treacherous Transmitter is that it's hard to see while you're in combat, which is kind of the issue. So the way you get around that, honestly, is that whenever you do summon the thing, it always spawns right here, or in a general vicinity diagonally right of you, so right around here. If you go back and see the orb, it kind of spawned in that area. Now the orb will spawn and then rotate around in a circle like how my mouse is doing. The platform will just stand there, and the jump will you just have to jump. So one way of actually gaming the trinket is, let's say I'm fighting a boss over here, right? We'll just go over to Kelpfist, right? And I know that Kelpfist is going to throw down a bunch of things. Like, okay, Kelpfist is going to do some mechanics soon. I'm setting up for my burst. I have my trinket. I'm going to turn, do that, and the orb's going to spawn right there. I know where it's going to spawn every single time. Now, we got orb twice, which is kind of funny because I did want to show the other ones. But what that does is actually allow you to mitigate the loss that the trinket can have of spawning in terrible locations. Now, sometimes, obviously, there's going to be situations where you can't use this trinket to have it spawn in a good spot. But the fact that it kind of always spawns diagonally right of you means that while you're doing combat, even while you're like, blade dancing, you can turn and do it, boom, turn during the GCD and just, get ready to push it out over there. It means that you're able to actually game this and put it in a spot that's not that bad. What else you can do too, especially if you're doing it in dungeons, is actually just do it pre-pull. I do that a lot. Now you will miss sometimes a few seconds of doing DPS by just having to wait outside of where you are, like on this pack here. Obviously it comes up in 30 seconds, so I'm not just gonna yap for that, but if my tank's pulling a pack and stuff together, I can pop it and I can go like stand on my pad 1, 2, 3, and the pack is together, tank is threat, and I can just blow up and blast on them, which is pretty good. So just kind of knowing that this thing spawns right here, I think makes it a lot more usable. Now the question to that comes, is it really worth it over Scardens? And I think if you want to go and put the effort into it, I actually do think it's worth it. If you're using the trick with the weak aura to tell you what you're doing, as well as with the turning about 180 degrees and just kind of knowing where it's going to spawn, it's very consistent in spawning in this general diagonal right direction. So we got one again, so we'll see what we get. We got find. Every single time we're getting the orb, which is really funny, but you can see again that I'm turning, I'm facing this way, and it's spawning right here. I guess I'll cut that up and slow it down, but it's always spawning in this diagonal general vicinity here, kind of like where this dog is roughly. So we're doing that again. You can control where it goes and actually makes the trinket usable. Now, Scardens is very strong as well. It's less burst because agility, especially right now, is just so strong. It gives me 50,000. Oh, actually, that's just how many I have, I guess, with all my buff stuff and stuff. But it gives you roughly, like 15,000 agility, 14,000 agility, which is a very sizable increase. So for 25%, a little bit less, a little bit more, whatever. So I think if you can manage to use it, it is better. But if you don't want to mess with it, or if you don't have one or stuff like that, I think Scardens is a very fine alternative. So I wouldn't go breaking your mind or breaking your bank. On some fights or in some places, you actually can't even get the orb very easily. Like there's a wall that can spawn in. On the boats in Dawnbreaker, you actually can't use the platform, which I still haven't gotten one of, so that's a little frustrating, but hey. So you can't actually use the platform because of just like weird y-axis stuff if you're on the boats. Same with like an underwater delve. Now thankfully there's no underwater dungeons, that would be terrible. But if you're in one of the underwater delves, like down in Hollowfall or something, like I don't think Nightfall Sanctum's one, but like the Sinkhole or something like that, or I think there's one down here as well, Techmarathon Abyss, then you will often find it where you can't use the platform. Okay, we're gonna use it one more time, see what we get. There we go, this is the platform. So again, you see I use it here, spawn over there, platform, walk up over to it, 1, 2, 3, stacks up, and then it's buffed. So that's the only one, and then the jumping is easy. That platform is kind of the hardest one to do. Orb is very easy. Jumping is very easy. Platform is one that can sometimes mess you up, but with only like a 33% chance to get that, and I'd say roughly like a 20%, 30%, as long as you're doing the controlled placement of it, chances of not being able to use it. I think the Trinket's still very good. I think it's still better than Skardens if you are going to put the most time and effort into it. Now, Skardens is much easier to use. Skardens lines up naturally with meta. This doesn't. It's a minute and a half. We're a 40-second burst class, so it's like roughly every other essence break window you have it, but sometimes it doesn't line up like that. It's tricky, but I think if you have this, try and use it. I think it's going to be pretty good for you. I think it's pretty easy to do. I think maybe there's like a 10% chance you won't be able to grab it in raid, maybe 5% chance. I think Mythic Plus, though, you'll use it basically pre-pull every time, and it's very, very easy to use there. But in raid, if you want a Skardens just to pair up with like your meta or something like that, I think it's like more than fine to just do that and just say, okay, I hate this thing, screw this thing, I'm not going to use it. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on Skardens. Not Skardens, sorry, on Treacherous Transmitter. I've had one. I got it first week. I think if you get it, it's pretty good. I actually think it's actually very usable for Havoc, more so than I thought at the beginning, and I've actually gotten used to it. Knowing where it spawns and also having this weak aura, I think is a big part of being able to use this thing. Of course, though, it does take more mental bandwidth. So if there's a fight where you're just really trying to focus on one thing, or really trying to like get something right, or there's like there's already too much going on, anything plus for you, something like that, I wouldn't use it. But if you're able to make use of this to its fullest, you're able to turn and control where it spawns to make sure it's not spawning in gunk or in places where you can't get it, or spawn inside the range of the boss too, because that's a big deal with the platform. Then I think this thing's really good for you, and I think you should get one. So I'll link the weak core in the description. Shout out to whoever made it. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little video talking about Treacherous Transmitter. I think it's very strong. It's weird because this is like one of those trinkets like Branch, where it's like, oh, Branch is annoying kind of thing. But I don't think this one's as bad as I originally thought, having played with it and having like worked on that kind of stuff. So I hope these tips helped. I hope that you guys get tons of value out of it, and I hope it does you well. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time for another video. Peace. A big thank you to all of my channel members. Thank you, Sky Elk, Andrew Keenel, 100,001 Zans, Brad Wisniak, Felfa Darren Dark Terror, and Magic Man 133. Thank you all so much. If you want to help support me and help fund the channels and the videos, follow the link in the description to become a channel member and get some cool perks in the process. Again, thank you all so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.